Hey guys, Miles here. Here's an introduction to UV mapping and materials in Maya. Just a little bit of vocabulary that we want to get down. When we talk about the Cartesian coordinate system, if you look here at Wikipedia, that basically refers to this grid, which we're mostly familiar with it as an X horizontal, Y vertical grid that allows us to plot coordinates or points in space on this grid. You guys are all familiar with that from Maya, named after Rene Descartes here. And then if we add the third dimension, we can have an X, Y, Z. And then this is all the math that's going on there, so it's always good to not get too mad at Maya when it's having trouble, because it can make these calculations a lot faster than I can, so very fun. So when we talk about XYZ space, with geometry, we're talking about this, but that's where the term UV comes from. And here we'll try to pull out our handy UV mapping Wikipedia entry here. So UV is used, we could use XY, we could call it XY mapping, but that would get us confused with XYZ space, which is reserved for 3D. So we use this other term of UV, so U is horizontal, V is vertical, and that means whenever you hear that term, it means that we're talking about two-dimensional space. And UV mapping is the process of applying a two-dimensional image, for example, a map of the world, to a three-dimensional image, for example, a sphere, so that you can create this globe here. And so it's a one-to-one correspondence. So let's see if I can zoom in on this. So that each grid unit here is assigned a corresponding grid unit over here, and so forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And that's the process of UV mapping. Now, anyone that's tried to wrap a sphere, or like if you created a decal of the world and tried to map that onto a sphere, you'd get pretty frustrated. It's a hard thing to do, and so the idea of, like, if you tried to wrap your body in paper, you would have to make all kinds of crazy cuts and splices in order to get that to wrap even remotely smoothly, and that's the problem that we always face with UV mapping, so it tends to be an imperfect science. So that's just a quick introduction to some terms and concepts behind UV mapping.